This episode of This Week in MMO is brought to you by Shutterstock.com with over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 25% off your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code GAMEBREAKER9.
GameBreaker TV.
Blah, 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 blah. It's the TWIMMO. Blah, blah, blah. This week at MMO. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 160 for September 6th, 2013. You're watching Game Breaker. I'm Gary Gannon. Coming up on today's show, EverQuest gets hairier. We're going to talk some Warhammer 40K, and Jason's going to get all teary-eyed and talk about some LOTRO. All that more, but first, Mr. Jason Winter, how are you, sir?
I'm so happy. So happy we'll be talking about it today. I can't wait.
The joy is just overwhelming.
Oh.
Can't wait. Joining us, as always, from XIV Reborn, it's Mr. Mike Byrne. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, sir. You are in rare form for a Friday.
No sleep. It's no sleep.
That's what yes. Well, yeah, see? Don't sleep. That's what it's going to do
no
to you.
Sleep. That's why we don't have sleep. We do just talk about the MMO, see? All right. Real quick, before we get started and talk about EQ Next, everybody's been asking where the heck did Scott Hawks go? Well, he finally posted on his Twitter, so I guess it's okay to say. He went to Riot, League of Legends, little game you may have heard of. Yes. A couple people play that game. I don't know. I've never tried it myself, but, you know, that's how it goes. But, yeah, so it is official. He posted it, so we can now say, for everybody wondering where he went, you can still follow him on Twitter, Jarimor, Jarimor, but he is now off at Z Riot Games, and he will be living very, very closely to me, so it'll be fun. So I get to now hang out with Scott Hawks in IRL. I don't know if I want that.
Keep your butter in the fridge.
That might not be a good idea. I'm not sure. But anyway, hats off, tip of the hat to him, and good luck, and good for him. All right, let's talk about some EverQuest Next. I'll lead with the most important thing of the week. It is beyond crazy. I know you can't believe it, but female dwarfs. Beards confirmed.
Oh, that's the only way you can grow one, isn't it?
You shut your beardless mouth.
Oh, don't talk to me. Oh, I will grow a beard. Do not tempt me.
You are not growing a beard that quickly, man.
Not like that. No, I'm not.
Mine was like this.
He grew the beard between jump cuts.
Yes, and was significantly less creepy than that Capital One commercial.
I was about to say, that's exactly what I was thinking of. You're Alec Baldwin, obviously. Or not a...
This makes me very happy, Gannon.
Yes, I believe I'm making a lot of people happy. EverQuest Next, best game ever. Beards confirmed. Female beards confirmed. I know it's just Linda. I know you're watching. You got your way. You got your way.
Like we thought it was going to go any other way with her running the poll.
We didn't, but she got it. I mean, female beards. Why a female would want facial hair, but okay. Sure. Honestly, I guess it's cool they're doing this, you know. This has been like a running sort of joke with dwarves forever. And I don't know of any... Does anybody know of any game that's ever actually gone and done it?
There are no female dwarves in Lord of the Rings Online.
There aren't, Jason. Stop trying to ease your little baby pet game into other stories.
That's like 4 stories from now, man.
It's 4 stories down, man.
Every segment. I'm going to mention it somehow. Every segment.
Every segment. He's like, I'm going to fit it in because it's the most important thing. No, it's not. No.
Yep.
Chat saying the original EQ. I don't quite remember that, but there's a lot of people saying that.
Really? Female dwarfs had...
Beards. They're saying it had an option. I don't remember it, but it's been so long. I'll take their word for it. There's a lot of people in chat saying that yes, it did. Wow,
I don't remember that either. It's been so long, but bringing it back. So they're pretty cute, I guess.
They're bringing female beards back.
Bringing it back. Female beards, a new black. I guess it's pretty cool they're doing this. Though they're actually doing this. People are excited and happy. So what's that, Jason?
I was about to say, yeah, they're really kind of piddly beards. I mean, they're not like the dude on the right or like what Burn
Hey,
has.
how do you know that's a dude?
Like sideburns. I know it's a dude because he's not showing any leg or cleavage.
Oh, that's what it is.
Are we sure that last one's a dude?
We're
That's
really
also-
not.
That's how you know.
Would you
That's how
want
you know.
that kind of a beard on your female dwarf? On that right one? I don't know. That might be a little bit too much. Yeah, we're assuming that the dwarf on the right is male. You never know.
These aren't like beards though. These like are kind of like chops, right?
Yeah.
They're just kind of extended sideburns coming in.
Do you think they're going to be
Well,
limited to
what's
smaller?
going on?
Do you think they're going to be limited to smaller beards?
I hope not. I mean, if you're gonna do it, give me the option to do this little bit or do it all. You give me the option both ways. I'll roll a female dwarf with a long, flowing, masculine beard like mine. No problem. But give me the option to. Don't cut it at these extended sideburns.
There's more to life than length, man.
Hey, whoa, hey. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about beards, my friend.
That's what I was talking about. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Just making sure we're still talking about the same things.
Moving on.
Did they give them those in EQ Next too? Jeez.
We also got to take a look at. We also got to see the Dark Elf. Ooh. It definitely fits the art style. I'm not sure what that horn thing is above the ear. Anybody have any ideas? Is that additional ear? Additional hearing? I'm confused.
You like dye his hair a little bit? A little cowlick there or something?
No, that is definitely some sort of like skull protrusion ear piece
that's
of
like
flesh.
a horn or
Horn. They must have horns and ears. I don't think it's an ear.
It's not enough for elves to have pointy ears. Now we have to have pointy heads too.
The Dark Elf does have a bit of an Avatar vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. Lighten up that blue a little bit, and it's pretty much dead on.
I don't mind. It definitely fits their art style again, just like the dwarves do. I gotta say personally, the aesthetic they're not as mean as I would hope. I need a race.
It's more elf than dark.
Yeah, he needs to be a little darker, like just a little meaner. Typical dark elf. Like he looks a little more angry. He looks a little too nice. He's not gonna stick a knife in your throat. That's what I picture a dark elf doing. Why is that funny? Dark elf's supposed to be dark.
It's a dark elf. What do you want?
We got Simba, the freaking lion. He's all roly poly and Disney. Forget that. We've got the female character. She's all like expressive and cute. We've got I don't know. We need a dark character for EQ Next. Like we need somebody who wants to play like kind of sort
you
of
got somebody with like gray blue skin and points coming out of their damn skull. What more do you want?
Evil. Like I want him to be a little evil. Like I want him to look a little menacing and mean.
I'm sure there'll be an evil slider in character creation.
Give him a little broader chin, and I think you got what you want. It's not that far off, I don't think.
The eyes.
He's also shirtless.
You really think it's like that far from what you would expect a dark elf to look like? I think it's pretty close. I mean, okay, fine. I'm with you. Maybe less effeminate on the nose and jawline type thing, but other than that, I think it's pretty damn close.
He's also shirtless.
Oh, man.
I'm putting my 2 cents in now. He needs to look just a little. I actually I like the art style of EQ Next, and a lot of people are kind of like 50-50 on the whole thing of like it's getting very stylized and it doesn't look like EQ and like I like it. I like everything. I do feel I just want to hopefully you can make this guy. Usually like dark elves. It's usually what I play. But I'd want to make my dark elf look I'd like to make him look a little bit more menacing and mean, All
right, well I can go there with you. I like the art style too. I like the dark elf knight the dark elf style.
The dark elf knight.
The dark elf knight. That's what I'm gonna end up rolling to. And okay, I could go with you as far as give me a couple more customization options. Let me scar them up, but I think that's gonna come with all characters, right? Not just the dark elves. So I don't know.
Everyone we're seeing so far
I love
is
the art
pretty
style, and I'm happy with what I see so far.
Everyone we're seeing is pretty cute and cuddly. We haven't really seen anybody that looks
cuddly. Come on. You wouldn't run up and give him a hug, would you? Come on.
I would spoon him. Are you kidding me? What?
Would you twerk him?
TWIMMO episode whatever. I would spoon that.
Wouldn't know the difference. He's cute.
I don't think it's that cute. I like it. I like the art style. I like the look for the race. I'm on board. Let me scar him up a little.
Makes you think a little of Twilight kind of vampires, where he's a
Oh,
bad boy.
come
He's a bad
on.
boy because he's a dark elf, but he looks so nice and shiny and
No,
Hands are
don't
pretty.
go there.
And he's kind of hot with his shirt off.
yeah, he's glittering. Ooh.
Can we maybe get like some Vaseline and like rub it all over his chest? So he's gleaming in EQ Next. The hot dark elf.
Man, TWIMMO just got weird.
He's got a fantastic haircut. Love that
Oh,
gold thing in
no.
his hair to hold his hair in place.
So dreamy.
He's off to New York Fashion Week right now, so he can't be bothered to talk to you, Michael Byrne. He's busy taking phone calls. in
That's
his
fine. You're busy rubbing Vicks Vapor Rub on his chest or whatever you're doing for him.
Vicks Vapor. Hopefully they just make a mean slider, please. All right, something else and move on. This seemed to be like something that they weren't really actually supposed to talk about, but they let this slip at PAX. I don't know if you guys caught this, but they're actually said that you're going to be able to build things that we're talking about, like Landmark now, like building stuff that actually involve AI. So this is something we had not heard about at all, and they did not, talk at all about this. The moment they said it, they just were like, "We'll talk more about that later." Boop. They just like kind of shut up. We're gonna not say anything else. But pretty vague statement. I don't know. Any ideas what that could be though? That's totally something I never heard grumblings about. Actually being able to tool with the AI, so not only building stuff, but then actually being able to put some sort of AI mechanics around it. I don't know if it's going to be like walk cycles or aggression or like who knows.
Yeah, I think that's what this kind of leans towards. Like if you put NPC guards in something that you build, their walk cycle, their patrol route, their lines of sight, their what they're going to be aggressive towards. I think it'd be really cool if you could like tool with the level, right? So that you could play with what level it would be aggressive on. I think that opens up a ton of really cool stuff. But yeah, I think we're thinking along the same lines. Anybody thinking something different?
Yeah,
What
I
do you
mean,
think,
that's
Jason?
kind of how they. I was about to say, yeah, that's kind of what you can do with like in the Dungeon Creator, the Foundry and Neverwinter. You can have your
Yeah.
guards patrol back and forth, that sort of thing. But in LEGO Universe Online, they had something in the housing whereby if you put the right stuff together, you could then program like your robot or your cannon or something to attack something. It wasn't like an actual combat thing. It was just like a housing deal, and you'd have certain commands that would let your cannon shoot or something like that. So there's some sort of rudimentary AI you could use in that as well. So maybe it leads something a little more complex than just walking back and forth.
And I hope we see a bit more than
They'll have
Neverwinter.
glittering on command.
Oh, Jesus.
Glittering
Wonder if
pants
you
on
could
command.
set the AI to have him spoon with me. I hope they do a little more than Neverwinter, right? I mean, Neverwinter works for what the Foundry is, mini dungeon. Go do your quests and things like that. I think EverQuest EQ Next is shaping up to be a bit bigger than that, so I would expect a lot more out of the AI options here. So it's going to be interesting to see what all they throw into this little package.
Speaking of EverQuest Next, we launched EQ Nation. We at least launched the forums. If you guys want to check them out, go over to forum.eqnation.tv. That's forum.eqnation.tv. The entire website's not ready to be launched yet, but the forums are up. So get on over there and start posting. Let's make this community awesome. And let's start getting in there and just posting. Start posting. I posted a good one this morning. I was looking for people to post their favorite or most memorable, like fondest memory of EverQuest or EverQuest 2. So get in there, you vet EverQuest fans or EQ2 fans. Post in there. I want to hear what you guys think about the EverQuest and the EverQuest 2. So full website will be coming eventually. Just wanted to get the forums up and running. So let's make another awesome community around the EverQuest Next. So get on over there. Yeah, I don't know. This whole AI thing though is super exciting. It adds a whole nother element to what like Landmark's going to be, what EQ Next is going to be. I can't wait to hear more about this. Obviously, maybe another conference or something. They'll be releasing some more information.
Well, Well, it can't be too far because Next is
Yeah.
coming out by the end of the year, like so.
Yeah.
3 months at most. Yeah.
Well, we don't necessarily know if it's going to be built into that yet. We don't know if they're going to build AI into Landmark, right? We're not sure of that.
Oh, okay. I thought not to mention that at the start, but okay.
I don't think they said specifically. Did they? Did they say specifically what it was tied to?
Do you think it would be though? Because that's sort of the creation engine. So.
I mean, yeah, it does actually kind of make sense, but I don't think they really. Like I said, I think they slit this slip. This didn't really necessarily seem like something they possibly wanted to talk about.
Purpose.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait. But you guys remember like that big city that they showed at the original building in the original presentation?
Mm-hmm.
At this, part of like that server wide rallying call. I guess you could if you took that city, maybe like all the NPCs, the guards, the vendors, if all of that stuff would be built into Landmark, and you could build all of that stuff, including the city, the guards, place the NPCs, and then that stuff gets put into the games for players to like RP and build. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they've given us any indication of like putting characters in, have they? Landmark has just been about making structures. As far
Right,
as
and that's why when it comes up to AI, it's like that's where it's AI definitely.
Right.
okay. Oh, okay.
kind
I
of-
think that's completely separate. Okay.
I don't think it's just gonna be AI built around like inanimate objects. Rock,
Yeah.
stay.
Well, I mean, and to Jason's point, though, like you could do what cannons on turrets and give them an AI as an inanimate object. But I tend to agree that this is more NPC based, guard based, monster based, that type of thing. And it makes sense that it would be in Landmark, and it makes sense that if you can take one thing from Landmark to EQ Next directly, why not these? Or why not the whole thing after you've built this big palace with 900 guards and AI?
And they want
how
you to
cool
build
is that?
And even just for Landmark, they want you to build these like plots and lands and like have people like, so think about that. I mean, you could build these like, monstrosity, hopefully, big, huge like castles and have guards, walking and guarding and doing, guard
Nice.
dogs that guard, like guards.
Like a guard dog would do while
yeah,
guarding.
like that. I mean, on a smaller
Yo,
level,
dog,
maybe
I
we're
heard you
thinking
like
too big. maybe we're thinking a little bit too big here. I mean, a smaller scale, maybe it's like, I don't know. I'm just making this up, but maybe like a butler for your house or maybe a guard dog. I don't know.
See, that's gonna be the problem. We have all these notions of we're gonna have this great army that's gonna be all AI and running around and killing stuff. No, sorry, it's just gonna be a butler.
It's going to be a rock. It's going to be a rock. All right, I want to talk about Warhammer 40K, but first I want to tell you guys about Shutterstock. If you guys have not checked out Shutterstock, you have to. If you guys have a website or a blog or a YouTube channel, you make content, I'm telling you, you have to go over to Shutterstock.com, check it out, make an account. You make a free account, and you can start sorting stuff and saving it to your Lightbox. We use it every single day. Actually, here I don't have it in front of me for the actual piece of artwork, but I can almost show you guys something almost every day that we do at Game Breaker that involves Shutterstock. And sometimes they're small things, but they make a difference. You see how we do the logo here with Game Breaker? We do this little modifier thing where a lot of them have like the Hearthstone's got the book, Free to Play's got the little guy with the cape. Messing around with EQ, it just didn't feel right to have like another element. But what felt right was to make the green part of the little logo there wood. The wood is actually from Shutterstock. Again, I know, wood grain. Amazing stuff from Shutterstock. I know you can't control yourself, but it seriously is just like one of the but that was out of so
I
much
had a feeling it was coming. I just didn't know who was going to say it.
That was out of so much trial and error of working on the logo, and it was like that probably about the 7th or 8th thing that we actually tried from Shutterstock, but just going through a bunch of different stuff and pulling up stuff. But if you guys have like a website or a guild website or something and you want to make it awesome, I typed in dragon here for a second. I'm just gonna see like it's not like guilds like dragons. Oh, here's a lot of Asian looking ones. Okay, but it's a fantasy kind of. Oh, look, here's where we go. Let's see. Again, boom, right? Like custom dragon artwork burning down this castle. Like this would be a great backdrop for like a guild website. You drop this in the back of your guild website, all of a sudden it looks pro. And you're not stealing any artwork from somebody. Don't go doing that because that's just not cool. These people spend a lot of time, and for a lot of people, this might be their living. Oh, here's another. This one's pretty cool. That's great concept-looking dragon artwork. You drop that in the back of your site or on your YouTube page. You throw a logo up on there, and boom, you're looking like 1,000 times better than the other YouTube channels out there. like I said, for your YouTube channels, even in your videos, we use it all the time in our videos, actually for pieces of elements as well. So want to hook you guys up with 25% off on your account. All you got to do is go over to shutterstock.com, make an account. And like I said, you can make a free account. You don't have to start today. You can start saving stuff and sorting stuff. And then when you're ready to make an account, there's a few different options there. You can buy image packs where you can download a certain number of images, or you can do the monthly plan like we do, because we do a lot of stuff here. Just use the offer code GameBreaker9. Put that promo code in when you sign up there, and you're going to save 25% off. Go, go, go. Check it out, shutterstock.com. All right, so Massively spoke with Behavior Interactive's Miguel Caron about Warhammer 40K Eternal Crusade. Any Warhammer 40K fans here? Because I'm a huge 40K fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm much more of a 40K fan than a straight up Warhammer fan.
Oh, yeah.
Jason is not amused.
I never got into miniatures. I couldn't get into the painting and the.
I'm not into the painting and miniatures. Actually, I was just at the nerd. I started playing Magic, by the way. So I ended up so a buddy of mine was like, "Wow, I have this idea. I think I want to paint miniatures." I'm like, "You don't have time to paint miniatures. Like, you have like a career and a job and a wife. Like, you don't have time for this." He's like, no, let's go. We have this like crazy awesome nerd mecca here over in Burbank called Emerald Knights. And it's like this big green castle looking place. I got to take a picture of it because it's awesome. And it's got like, you walk in and there's like this big loft area that is like up above that goes the entire perimeter. And there's like people up there just playing Warhammer and Magic. And it's always packed. Like it's always, but they got like a small comic section and they got like tons of miniatures. Anyway, so we went there. He had this notion of he's going to buy paints and start painting Warhammer stuff. And we ended up walking out with 2 packs of Magic cards. So
Is that the tweet? I saw that picture and I was like, what is he doing?
Playing Magic.
Play Magic?
Yes, I do, Mike Byrne. Yes, I do.
It's the hottest thing of the summer of '93.
It's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, but only I never got into the miniatures. I never played like the tabletop sort of stuff with Warhammer, but I love the universe of 40K. I like the universe.
Blood Bowl.
Was that last week when you were sick? Bird is trying to hold back his laughter.
I'm trying. You guys.
But I don't think we haven't talked about Eternal Crusade pretty much. I don't think ever. Really, because there's not a whole heck of a lot to talk about it.
Right?
It's Warhammer. It's 40K. That basically means orcs and space marines in the grim darkness of the far future. I'm a huge fan of the IP, though. It's a great setting. I think it's really unique. I think what I love about it, it's a great bridge between sci-fi and fantasy, which I just I just love that. And I think that's, I don't know, it kind of just feels so much different. But now Behavior Interactive. If you haven't heard of them, I don't blame you. I don't know much about them. Lots of kids games from what I can tell. Anybody have any background on these guys?
They're really, really big with the Disney licenses. So they do a lot of like the console ports for Disney titles, or like Ice Age movies and Power Rangers and Spider-Man and Kung Fu Panda and all those types of things for the DS and particularly the DS and the PlayStation 3. So they're real big in that side of things. So this is quite different from their usual catalog of past exposure and experience.
Well, there's 2 sides to this now, right? So when it first came out, everybody was like, oh, who are these guys? They make these little kiddie games. Now they're going to make some big, awesome 40K MMO. And people are like, how's that going to happen? It's like, well, I don't know, because the people who really make MMOs and who are known for it aren't doing such a kick-ass job either. So,
all right.
I say give them a chance. Maybe they'll come in and just knock it out of the park, because all these other companies that have all these MMO veterans on board, like, kind of suck.
It's just, this is so weird for me, though, because like I'm such a Warhammer guy that it kind of pains me to just think about how that conference went around. They were like, you know what? It would be great if we made a Warhammer 40K MMO. I mean, the other Warhammer thing really didn't fly. I think we could do something better. Who should we get for this? You know what? Call the guys at Behavior. I played my daughter's Ed, and Eddie game last night. And it
was amazing.
It was fantastic. So it's kind of weird. I mean, I wish them the best of luck. Don't call me at 4 a.m. anymore. But
if I had to guess, I'd put my. If I had to like come up with my scenario, it would be like, all right, guys, we made some kiddie games. We've got a shit ton of money. We need to go pay somebody through the nose for an IP. Who should we do? Oh, 40K. Nobody's done a good 40K MMO. Let's go talk to those guys. We'll probably pay 10x what we should be, but we'll get it. That's probably more close how it went. I just
probably.
I mean, the first one was and the second one never happened. So.
And we still have a ton of time. This is what, like 2015?
Yeah, that's what
their website still advertises is 2015.
So here's what they had to say about it. This is from Miguel. He says, there's no genre that exists right now that describes this game. Exactly. That's a red flag. We came up with the term MMO combat RPG, done in a persistent world. The whole purpose of this game is to not play it alone. I know there are lots of antisocial MMO players, but this is an MMO, and this game is about strategy and waging war in the 40K universe. The MMO combat RPG, huh? Here we go. We're going to try and twist genres around and confuse the hell out of everybody.
As opposed to all those MMORPGs that have no combat.
Look, just call it an MMO. Stop confusing people with your jargon. Not an MMOC RPG or no, maybe he meant MMOCOMBAT-RPG. That's what it's going to be called.
This never ends well, and chat's already kind of pegged it. This sounds like End of Nations a few years ago. It's an MMORTS, MOBA, CRSNNA. Now it's just a MOBA.
I don't know, man. Every time these companies try to flip for the genres around and come up with like a new acronym and like, make this thing up, it just scares me. I'm just like, why are you trying to confuse people? Even if your game is different, right? Especially this early in the game, don't try and convince us yet. Just call it a freaking MMORPG. Get us excited. All you have to say is 40K MMO, and like I'm salivating. My mouth is like,
yeah,
like that's it. That's enough. Now just start building things. Don't start confusing me right off the bat with MMOCOMBAT-RPG. Fa la 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 la.
Did you just spell out combat? MMOCOMBAT.
It's an MMOCOMBAT-RPG.
And now you're singing it.
It's the only way people will remember it. I don't know. But from some of the information we're hearing about, though, it's sounding a little bit like an sandbox. They're making some comparisons to Eve, including a single server, which makes me happy. I like that. So you're getting all these other things, right? Good. MMO.
It's weird, though,
40K.
I mean, to talk about Eve, Eve is good, but you don't really think of it as a big combat game. But isn't that what people are going to really want in a 40K RPG, as opposed to like economic simulations? You think?
I think so. I think we don't really have any details, so they're very vague, right? But they said that he said the economy front of the 40K game that they're making, it's a very simplified Eve. So I think he was referring to on that side, not the combat. I don't know, but to be fair, what isn't more simple than Eve, really?
I mean, Lord of the Rings Online is.
There he goes.
The IRS looks at Eve and goes, no, we're not doing that.
So we don't know how long. I mean, there's a well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think almost more like PlanetSide 2 almost, where you have a couple factions, 3 in that case, probably 2 in this, and they're just in a persistent world fighting each other over territory and that sort of thing. Maybe that's a little more of an MMO combat RPG.
Did you guys see they just recently put out the next phase of their little campaign on their website. It's broken out into coming soon phases, and it was a few days ago they released a Meet the Team video. Did either of you gents see that?
Neither. I'll answer for Jason because I know he hasn't seen it.
I spent the whole 2 minutes long that it is going through very slowly, trying to look at monitors in the background. Because it's all in their office, right? They're all sitting there.
You're like photoshopping and zooming
and I'm sitting there zooming
masking.
And they do warn you. They say, hey, you may see some footage, and it's very, very, very early alpha. But at least what you can see speaks more to what you're talking about, Jason. It's that third-person, typical MMO perspective, kind of a gunner, PlanetSide 2 type feel, except not first-person. So it left that type of impression as far as the main course of the game. Who knows? I mean, that could just be a small piece of it. We're only seeing seconds of footage there. So, but I think your aspect is probably closer to what this is going to end up being.
I can only hope and pray for a good 40K MMO. Please, somebody do it. Do it. There is a political element to the game where players run war councils, like setting objectives for their factions. That's somewhat Eve-esque. And finally, friendly fun confirmed, which means I'm going to love it.
But sort of forgiving friendly fire. You catch that where you don't do as much damage to your allies when you shoot them as you would if you shoot an enemy.
Because futuristic weapons are magic.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
The bullet understands your DNA.
Yes. It understands that Gary and I are friends.
Yeah, so we'll only hurt him a little bit.
Right.
You only hurt the ones you love.
We'll keep an eye on this one. This one hopefully shapes up and actually comes out, because all the other 40K stuff never even comes out. Can't stand it.
Anybody have any info on the ARP or the ARG that they started at PAX? Like, I saw the start of it.
I'll answer for Jason.
And
no.
What other games are we talking about? I'll start answering for Jason too.
LOTRO? No.
Oh well, no, I can't speak to that one then. So yeah, they started an ARG at PAX. Look it up if you're interested. I don't know how much you can get, but I will. I bring this up, Gary, because I have to vent on TWIMMO about my 4 a.m. call. I vented.
Oh, that's right.
About
this.
That's
right. Yeah, tell us about this. This is like
so
hilarious.
Apparently, see, now what had happened was I signed up for the ARG for the Secret World way back when.
Totally different game.
Yeah, totally different game. And so Secret World comes out, and years go by, and no problem. About 2 weeks ago, or right before, about a week and a half, right before PAX starts, I get a call at 4 in the morning, Eastern Time. Phone rings. I pick it up. I'm dead asleep. I don't know what's going on. And it is the creepiest voice I've ever heard in my life. And I can't tell if it's a recording or if it's somebody, with something stupid in front of their mouth augmenting their voice. I can't tell.
I know you're sleeping, but I've got your testicles. I've got your testicles, and they're in a lockbox around the corner in a dumpster.
It was like, by the way, your bedroom looks really nice at 4 in the morning. Oh, what? So
darn out.
I had no clue, and I don't remember the whole thing, but at the end of the paragraph of speech, it says, and I bet you're wondering why you and I are even speaking. And I hung up. I didn't say a word. I hung up, and I tried to go back to sleep, but then your mind starts going, what the hell was that? And so now I'm up. It's 4 in the morning, and I'm scared. I think I've pooped myself at this point. It's just terrifying. So I look up the phone number the next day, and there's one or two comments about the phone number, and it's a VoIP owned by somebody, and then I check out some forums, and there's comments from years ago showing that this phone number was part of the Secret World's ARG. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a couple years too late. And
gotta read that TOS.
There's 2 comments at the bottom from that day. Somebody saying, I got a call at 4 in the morning. What is this?
For the rest of your entire life.
Burn is gonna be like 80 years old, and he's gonna be like, they're gonna be dropping packages on his house by then.
The last comment's from an employee at the company that says, we're actually a third-party company that handles advertising. So if you opted in with one game, you're likely going to get stuff from other games that use us as well. Here's how you can opt out. I did that shit right away. I was like, no, 4 a.m., this ain't happening.
You're like, hell no! 4 a.m. calls like that? No, thank you.
I explained what it was to my wife, and she's like, now I wish you would have remembered what it was. And I was like, now I wish you would have answered it so I didn't shit myself in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you were freaking out over that. I remember that.
I was.
Hilarious.
The next day, I'm in chat. What is this?
All right, moving on. Mr. Byrne, give me a rundown of what's going on with the XIV, the Final Fantasy XIV. I know we do a full Final Fantasy XIV show, but we need to update it into TWIMMO as well, just because there's so much going on day to day. What's going on since last we talked about 14?
The servers work.
They work! So far, they're working.
So last weekend, they installed new worlds and improved the architecture between the worlds and the Duty Finder. They tested it Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They implemented it Tuesday night into Wednesday morning United States time. For the first few, about 6-7 hours, it was a bit rocky. 3102 did rear its head again, and when I was logging out just regular and could not log back in, because I beat the hell out of the login to test it for articles that we were writing on XIV Nation. And yeah, I got 3102 about a dozen times voluntarily. The world went nuts a little bit, and then about 1 o'clock Eastern time, everything started to taper off. Square Enix said, you know, we're working on it, and they did. And in the afternoon and evening that day, it was beautiful to log out and log back in and get a queue of like 6 people on our particular world, Behemoth. They're still putting the character creation limits on for now while they fill up the new worlds that they've put there. So if you can't create on a server that your friend's on, just hang tight a little bit if you don't mind waiting. If you really want to create, you're likely going to get a free transfer or something at some point. Yoshi P's already alluded to that, so take your chance if you want to there. But
yeah, it's been a dream
great
for
the
me.
last few days, man.
It's been a dream for me. I haven't had one problem logging in. I just boom log in whenever I want to play. I've been in, no problems. Everything's working really good, so it's pretty smooth. They have not opened up sales yet though on the game, so probably another few more days, or at least for that. Yeah. Going back really quick, have you guys heard this story? Let's go back to your creepy ARG story for a second. No, I heard this during, it was about a week or two ago. I heard this story. It was that, well, they have baby monitors, and they have like the video cameras, right? So now like people have kids, they can put the camera over the bed and, the crib and the monitor or whatever. Story hit the news. I read about it, or heard about it on the radio actually. And, husband and wife are sleeping in bed, and they got the baby monitor thing, and all of a sudden they started, this sounds gross, but they literally started hearing something. It was just like, they knew the girl's name. They were like, Emily, you little slut. And the father like jumps up and was like totally like freaking out, right? And he runs over into the baby's bedroom, and he like hears this like male voice like saying really rude things to his daughter, and he's like freaking out, and he's looking around, and he realizes it's coming out of the baby monitor, and then it starts talking to him. And he realizes that the camera is moving and following him in his house. They had hacked his baby monitor camera and system to the point that they were watching him in his own house. Talk about creepy. He immediately like broke it, like ripped it out the wall. The company like that week like had a firmware update and like updated that. They found the security loophole that they plugged it up. Oh man, that freaked me out. What? Like he watched it following him. He was like walking from the room. The camera's going like this, following him in the room.
That's the type of stuff that changes your life. And not for the better.
Crazy.
That's why you shouldn't have kids.
Yes.
Just don't have kids.
Nutty. All
Too
right.
late. I have 3.
Get rid of
I
them.
want to talk
Kick 'em
about.
out.
Actually, I don't want to talk about LOTRO. So let's talk about. No, I do. Let's talk about. First, I want to talk to you about Audible. I want to hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. And guess what, Jason? I'm actually going to talk about Lord of the Rings, because they have tons of Lord of the Rings online books on the Audible. Look, they got The Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring, Book 1, Book 2, Book 3. Oh my God, there's so many books. Books upon books upon books. There are a ton of Lord of the Rings online books. I can't even go through them all. There's so many here on Audible. Look, I'm just going to
I
keep
don't think
scrolling.
they're Lord of the Rings online books. I don't really think
No,
based
they're
on
not
them.
online books.
They
Cliff
they
Notes.
are these
That's
are
what you mean.
online books.
They are online.
So technically
not a
they
book.
are Lord of the Rings online books.
Yeah.
There are a ton of them. So you can be downloading one of these today as your free book. This is The Hobbit. The Hobbit. All you got to do is go over to audible.com/gamebreaker, sign up, create an account, and download the app. You put it on your iOS device, your Android device, your iPad, whatever else you got. It's a few different versions there you could do. And you download it, and you can start downloading The Hobbit or any one of these classic Tolkien books tonight. Start listening. So check it out and go over to audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, Jason.
Is that really Cliff's Notes?
Yeah, there
Was that
really
really
was.
Audible
Yeah,
Cliff's
yeah. Did you
Notes?
see that? Look at I hung on that for a while because that was kind of funny. Yeah, hang on.
Wow.
Hey, it's a long book, man. If you want it in 4 hours and 52 minutes, you grab this one. No, I don't want to chat with somebody right now. Thank you, but thank you. There you go.
Not only
All
do
right,
I not want
Jason.
to read it, I want to have it read to me. I want to have it read to me in record time.
Throwing you a bone, Jason. Here you go. You can talk about your favorite game this week. Are you happy now? Are you finally happy? Are you happy?
I've really barely played the game in the last year and a half.
Great. Perfect.
I
This
don't
would be
even
a
have a
great
max level
segment.
character.
This would be a great segment. But what's
This
up?
is going to be amazing.
What's up with the new expansion? What's it all about?
Well, fortunately, I did get a preview with Turbine last week, so I am briefed on it. I know what's going on, more or less. It's called the Battle of Helm's Deep, which surprisingly revolves around the Battle of Helm's Deep. So that's one of their big new things, something called the Big Battle System.
Wait. Are we only at Helm's Deep?
Yes.
How old is
only
LOTRO now?
6 years, almost 6.5.
So Motor in like what, 2020, 2022, what?
Right?
If they renew the license,
Oh.
which expires
Okay.
next year.
That's right. That's coming up.
Mhm.
What's your over under on that happening? I think somebody else will pick that up and make another MMO
Well,
out of it.
That's the thing. There's nothing really in development right now. It's not like Galaxies and Old Republic where there was something in development, so they just kind of shut away Galaxies and went to SWTOR, and I know that makes Gary all sad. But yeah, I mean, it'd be a point of where the Turon or the Lord of the Rings people could be like, yeah, we could not renew our license and get nothing from you and nothing from anybody else, or we can renew it at a slightly more favorable rate and at least get something. So I think it's a pretty good chance it'll stick around. But until it's all dotted, signed, whatever, you never know for sure.
I don't know. I could really see them wanting to sort of get something fresh in there and have somebody else pick up the IP. You don't think somebody would want to pick up the Lord of the Rings IP and make a new MMO out of it? I could see that.
Probably, but like I said, it'd be like another 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. So unless there's something
Sure.
we just don't know about under the surface.
This is true.
So-
I don't know.
But
So
anyway,
what's the expansion all about? Is it what LOTRO players are looking for right now?
Well, there are two big things. The Battle of Helm's Deep, like I said, is part of their big battle system, which is a new thing. They treat it like skirmish on steroids, which if you don't know, a skirmish is
Let's
like
get
a
cooking!
short battle instance. Are you taking the Hobbits to Isengard? Trying to queue up something on me?
Oh no, I was curious. Yeah, I'm working in the background. You just keep
all right,
going, Jason. Yeah, I'm working my
I'll
magic.
blah blah blah. So yeah, it's like a big skirmish. It's a really large area that it takes place in. Of course, the whole Helm's Deep, that whole area is pretty large. You can take on a bunch of different roles. You can be either an officer, which is kind of like directs the troops. You can be a vanguard, which is a frontline fighter. You can be an engineer, which mans the siege engines. And how you do it, that role, how you do it, whatever your chosen role is, will determine your score, how many rewards you get, and all that, because you can't actually lose the Battle of Helm's Deep, because that would be kind of against what happens in the books. You can't go and get Aragorn killed or anything like that.
Damn.
They have to figure a different way for getting. I know we want to get Legolas killed because he's a little pansy boy, but yeah, you can't do that. So yeah, big battles are the big thing. They're going to use it probably for other big battles like the Pelennor Fields or anything else they can squeeze in. The other big change that they're making is they're completely revamping the skill system. How you get skills, how you access them. They're
Really,
going with
why is
something
that?
more- I think they just wanted to streamline things a little bit, because as it is right now, it's like a typical MMO. You buy, you go to a trainer, you buy a skill every couple of levels, and you have like 30 or 40 or 50 things on your bar, and they wanted to really streamline that. Kind of like how mounted combat is. It's the same kind of thing, where you only have about 15 or 20 skills available at any one time. So you're going to have 3 different trees that you can go down for each of your classes. So it's kind of like Rift is what I think it's most like, where you assign points to different trees and you'll get different skills based on it. And you can swap out your builds between anytime you're not in combat. So again, kind of like Rift. So yeah, it is introducing more of like a skill tree kind of system into the game.
These were changes that were players wanted back in Moria, though, right? I mean, these are finally kind of class changes that people, particularly Burglar, that people wanted for a while. At least that's what I read. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know. I've always never had a big problem with the whole system in general. Yeah, obviously various classes are concerned about there being certain power levels, or how well they're how well they progress, how you can figure out exactly what builds to take. And there's a lot of useless crap on the bar. I don't know that necessarily people have wanted this radical a change, or I haven't heard anybody really say anything bad about it. So obviously it's not like the new game experience again, picking on Star Wars Galaxies. But yeah, I think it's pretty welcome change, and it's a situation of how LOTRO's really, for an older game, they really are trying to adapt to a lot of the new stuff out there. Games with a limited skill pool, or they added like open tapping and dynamic events, kind of. They added something like that in the last expansion. So yeah, they really are trying to progress and trying to stay modern with the more modern MMOs.
So what I was working on here, what I was queuing up, is I want to let everybody know, it's a little bit different show. We don't really talk about the new expansion, but we have a show on Game Breaker called The Game Biz, and actually this past week we interviewed Craig Alexander from Turbine. If you guys are interested in like the sort of how to get into the video game industry, we get to do a lot of Q&A with Monty Sharma, where people ask questions about how they break in, how to change careers, get into the whole industry, what it's like. This is a great interview with Craig Alexander from Turbine, just talking about his story and how he got in the games industry and stuff like that. So no, I wasn't playing Hearthstone. I was actually queuing up that video. So
I've been arguing with myself all day about buying the expansions to catch up. I did download it today, LOTRO, and I haven't played in a while, but I've been fighting with myself about buying. They have an expansion bundle right now for $40. I don't know, man. I might break down and jump in and check it out again. It's been a while. Talk me out of it.
MMOculture.com is reporting a rumor that XL Games is restructuring. I'm not talking you out of it, Bern. I'm moving on. Now, did you guys hear this one? So there's a rumor floating around, MMO Culture reporting that XL Games, the company, the game company behind ArcAge, are restructuring because ArcAge failed to meet financial expectations in Korea. That's what we're hearing. Don't know, just a rumor right now, but if true, not a very good sign. I am really looking forward to this as a Western release, which Tryon are looking to put out, but damn, I'm a little bit scared if it didn't even do well in Korea. A little bit scared.
Then pile that on top of Tryon restructuring on this side.
So we shall see. I don't think we're going to see this for quite some time. And I don't know. Maybe we'll get some clarification on this rumor in the next week or two. RuneScape 3, kicking ass all over the place. Jagex have released the stats. 300,000 new players and 100,000 old players rejoined the game with all the revamps in the first month. So that's on top of the massive just player base that they have. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, but how many of those 300,000 were bots? Because they did ban
shots fired on Jagex.
They banned 9 million bots a couple of years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow, really? 9 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a story about it written on some news site that I wrote for then. I don't remember what it was called. Game something TV.
That's crazy. 9 million. Crazy. All right, last up today, I can't wait to burn things of this. Tryon's Simon Finch had this to say. He hopes that Tryon, at some point in time, will actually give the server code of Rift to the community in the far future when the game shuts down.
Soon.
Yeah, well, no, in his quote, he said 20 years.
soon in the gaming industry.
They have plans for a while.
Yeah, it's not like it's shutting down. So why would he talk about this then? Like, why bring this up if you're talking about 20 years down the road? Like, what was the point? What's the context? I don't understand.
It was just one of those weird questions where, it was a great piece, by the way, and it was like 4 or 5 page spread in the online magazine. Very cool. And it was just like an off the cuff question, like, how would you see this ending? And that was his reply. I think it was a great reply. I mean, that's kind of the way we all want our insert favorite game here to end, right? Like, we want it to be continuing on, even if it's just a smaller group of us. I think it's really cool if that type of thing happens. I'm already a huge Rift fan, and I love Tryon, despite their challenges with some other titles right now. I'd love to see that. That's really cool.
Do we have any instances of where this has worked, though? Not to say it can't work, and it's still cool even if it's small. The only one I can think of right now is Rhizom got turned over, I think, to the community. They took that over, but nobody plays that, really. Very small.
Well, your SWG is, it's not totally legit, but
not
it's
totally
out there,
legit,
and it works.
Yeah, and nobody's really shutting them down, sure.
It works, and it's playable, and especially if you hated the combat patch, fine, more power to you there. So I think this can be done, and I don't mind when it's done well. And you don't think somebody would pick up Rift if Tryon 10 years from now was like, here you go. You don't think somebody that had the knowledge and the desire and the love for it would pick it up and take care of it?
So now we're down to 10 years.
I think 20 is a bit optimistic for just about any game that's out there now, let alone an MMO that's already years old. So yeah, I'll say more around 9.
Now it's going to be next week soon enough. Rift shutting down next week. You heard it here first.
I'm just gonna say bitter. I'm just gonna say bitter about Star Wars Galaxies for the next day. All right, Jason Winter. Follow him on Twitter over at Winter Informal, and of course right here on TWIMMO. This week in MMO.
We're gonna get hate mail. We're gonna get hate mail now from the Rhizom fan club because you said nobody plays it.
All 3 of them, Jason. They will. My inbox will be flooded with all 3 of them. Mike Bird, follow him on Twitter at MagicMan, MIGICKMANN1. Don't forget the number 1, and of course, watch him on everything now. You're like on After Dark. You're on TWIMMO. You're on XIV Reborn. You've got
BurnNation.com.
Burn Nation coming soon. Next site to launch. You can follow me, Gary Gannon. Follow Gamebreaker TV, Gamebreaker TV, and don't forget, go right now. Go over to the EQ Nation. We need some peeps getting in there and get this community rocking and rolling. It's forum.eqnation.tv. Get to posting. You guys help build the community. So on the forums, that's where the heart and soul of a community lies. So we need you guys to get in there and start making some posts, coming up with some topics. Just start chatting about EQ Next. Get it going. All right, we do the show live every Friday. It's 3. Used to be 6. I was going to say 6, but that was the old time. We do it at 3. Followed by the Gamebreaker Nation cast, which comes up right after it. So coming over for the live show. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week for some more This Week in MMO.
Will we talk about LOTRO?
No, we won't.